There are so many antagonists in this show, but can we please just get more Sweet Tooth?
Nutmeg needs an adrenaline rush. Will Calypso's race be more Mad Max or Tokyo Drift?
We're going along for a wacky, action-packed ride with season 2 of Twisted Metal on Peacock.
Ahoy, ladies! Didn't see you there. Would you guys like to set sail on this ocean of flavor?
Randall, look at eye contact. You're gonna be cool, right?
Oh, baby, I'm as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Been staring at this board for days.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Act. Bears eat beets. My brain is on fire. I'm dying.
I am the one who knocks.
Bears. Beets. Battlestar Galactica.
When they say 2% milk, I don't know what the other 98% is.
It's hard to believe we're even the same species.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Oh my god. The microchip has been compromised.
Dracarys.
Welcome to the season 2 finale of our Red and Red. So before we get started, hit that follow or subscribe button so you don't lose track of whenever our episodes drop. Today, we've got a preview of our new format for season 3 of the show. So basically how it's going to run with season 3 is we'll be bringing you the same reviews we always do, just in a more concise, expedited format. You're welcome. So instead of covering entire seasons, our reviews will cover usually the first episode or episodes of a new show or a new season of an existing show, unless we have entire seasons dropping at once. But kind of seems like most streamers are moving away from that model. So, they're all going back to a weekly cadence, which we love waiting for episodes so much. It's torture. So in the case of Twisted Metal, we had 3 episodes dropping of season 2 initially. So what we'll do is we'll usually start off by saying what we thought of those first episodes, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, and we'll tell you whether this show is worth watching or continuing with. So here we go. The question of the hour, Nutmeg. Should you watch Twisted Metal season 2?
I would say yes. I really wish that I played the game. I was not a PlayStation gamer growing up, because every time there's a show or even a movie, but most of them seem to be shows, that's an adaptation of a video game, there's always like little notes and references, and if you didn't play the game, you wouldn't like pick up on them. You're just kind of watching the show as you would watch any other original show. So there's certain things that like I'm sure I'm missing not having played the game. But in spite of that, it's still done in a way that can be entertaining without that kind of background information. I think there's a lot of dry humor. There's a ton of action, which, if nothing else, it's just a pure adrenaline rush. So that's very appealing to me. And there seems to be a lot more different dramatic arcs and stories unfolding than in season 1. So, I mean, it can be a little bit more to follow, but I think one way or the other, I feel like they're going to get to a point where there's going to be something rewarding at the end, regardless of which kind of story they stick to or follow more.
Yeah, I do think kicking off with this second season, it does seem, and I would predict that this season's going to have a little bit more of a driving force or a plot than the first season, which was a little bit all over the place. But even if it didn't have that stronger plot, I don't think it would be a waste of time. I didn't think season 1 was a waste of time, even though it was a little bit all over the place. You still had, I think it's purely worth watching. I don't know if it's just because I'm a millennial, but the soundtrack is awesome, as it was for the first season. I was laughing out loud with the episode with Quiet singing Michelle Branch in the car. So she slips in what has like a Metallica cover on it, but she puts in the CD and Michelle Branch starts playing and she starts singing loudly, which is like hilarious. So I loved that. I loved the music. and just the nostalgia in general. You had John reading the Babysitter's Club books, which I'm sure you can't relate to, but
No, but I know what they
usually,
are. I was
yeah.
more of a
So
Goosebumps kid, but
yeah, I read Goosebumps too, for the record. But yeah, I also did read, Babysitter's Club and Sweet Valley High. So that's kind of a spot in every millennial woman's heart is, talking about the Babysitter's Club and all the characters. And he has nothing else to do, so he's getting super into it. That was a hilarious uh, game that they played. And then I think it's worth watching for Will Arnett. He plays just the voice of Sweet Tooth. He's not obviously the physical representation of Sweet Tooth, but I love Sweet Tooth's like humor, that he's just this crazy killer, but he's also like kind of like clumsy and like nerdy almost in a way, which is kind of funny. And then you have his partnership with Stu, who's like this clueless bearded guy who Sweet Tooth is kind of trying to show the ropes to, of like how to be a crazy killer to this
yeah,
Stu.
I kind of hope that like we'll get into it more later, but because there seems to be multiple antagonists in this season, I
Yeah.
also kind of hope that there's a little bit more of Sweet Tooth because he's kind of an icon. I know even without playing the game, I know he's an iconic villain in the game. So I kind of would like some focus on him because season one he was kind of like there, but he was almost kind of he was like a thorn in the side. He wasn't really like a featured antagonist.
Yeah, I think it seems like with the first season, Sweet Tooth was there, but yeah, he would kind of go away for a few episodes. And then, like, whenever he was around, like, it was hilarious. And I'm actually not really into dark comedy, I would say. It kind of rubs me the wrong way a lot of the time. But especially if you're into dark comedy, I think you'd love this show, aside from not even playing the game. But, to that point, this is just a half-hour show, so it's really quick to watch. It's just, it's very action packed, so it's a easy watch. And I know we're all busy, so this show is great because it's not a huge time investment either way, even if it's
No,
going to have a strong plot or not.
yeah, and you don't have to take it too seriously. Like you
Yes.
can watch it kind of casually. I don't. I would never recommend people multitask when they're watching a show, but like if you were multitasking, you could do that and not miss too much. Like you can kind of absorb it a little osmosis. That's not a word I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I didn't multitask during the first season.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, so getting to a new segment we're going to be doing in season 3 of the show. So we're going to talk about one thing that we really want to focus on. So here's Binge the Ginge's one thing for today. So if I'm going to continue watching this show, the reasons I will end up staying is for the humor, nostalgia, the music. The reason I'm going to dip out, if it continues to get further into this like supernatural, satanic, I don't know what to call it, with this grim guy. I think that's
Yeah.
his name. The guy on like the motorcycle who did he dig up his father's motor? I wasn't clear on that whole
That was a
situation.
that was a weird cutscene. The flashback was a little weird. I couldn't quite figure out. Like, is this a flashback? Is he grave digging?
I
It
think
was a little
he
bit of an odd flashback.
I think he was grave digging, but even like the whole Wiccan thing with this Raven thing, and she's talking about her friend Kelly or something. Like, if it gets like further into this like Wiccan supernatural, like weird, creepy, grim thing, like that whole vibe was a turn off for me.
The thing I didn't like about Raven was the fact I don't think they needed to do it. Like, I don't know if it was the Hollywood representation thing because she's trying to revive her, lesbian lover or whatever. But like, I
Oh,
don't
were
know
they
if
lovers?
it seemed like it. And that
I
flashback to
thought
the
that they
party.
I thought that they were just like best friends, but I don't know.
No, no, it seemed a little more interpersonal than that.
Uh,
But like I was watching that, and like I don't know if they were just doing the representation thing, but it also felt like the original Raven just kind of felt like she was a cold corporate, kind of ice cold bee. So like I didn't necessarily think that they needed to change the Raven character. Like, okay, this Raven is just a front for New San Francisco, and then this Raven's really pulling the strings.
Yeah, and so they introduced Raven and then they just kind of dropped it, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I mean, but she was like there throughout the whole season, so like they established her arc, and then
Yeah.
yeah, like in the first episode, like, oh hey, this is Raven, but this is really Raven, and then yeah, you're right. Then they just kind of dropped her, and we didn't see her again.
Yeah. So I don't know if it continues to go into that, like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I'm not into that. Like it's almost like bordering on horror. Like as long as they keep it the way that it is, which is like this like post-apocalyptic Grand Theft Auto where you do have some gore and you have some, kind of twisted situations like Sweet Tooth joking around about killing people,
Hmm.
and being quirky. Like as long as they keep that lightness to it, I think I'll definitely continue watching. But when they get into that like dark stuff that's like bordering on horror, I'm kind of like, I don't know, guys. I don't care for this.
Yeah, I don't so much mind that stuff. I don't have a big repertoire in my life with horror, with like the classic horror films. Uh, I have no appeal to like the jump scare movies. Those the like teeny boppers, sneak into an R-rated movie and talk the whole time and scream every time something happens. So I never really had an appeal to those. But like the kind of like you said, the supernatural, mystical, the witch land, that sort of stuff. Like that stuff I don't really have a problem with. I don't know, to your point, I don't know whether it necessarily fits with the post-apocalyptic stuff. It seems like a square peg in a round hole. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, I am. It's funny you brought the GTA comparison because another game I didn't play, Crazy Taxi. The first season, like I kind of thought, like I kind of always confused Twisted Metal and Crazy Taxi in my head, and I think Crazy Taxi is more just like a jovial type of game. But I was still kind of expecting, like season one felt like what I expected Crazy Taxi to have been like, where they're just driving around point to point. Whereas this one kind of feels like a little bit of from season one going into season two, it kind of feels like a little bit of a mix of that plus some GTA. Like because it kind of the show does kind of feel like it has an open world type of existence like you would play in GTA, in Red Dead Redemption, those type of games.
Yeah, I actually have not even heard of Crazy Taxi, but I did not play any. I didn't own a PlayStation. I was purely in the 90s. I was a Super Nintendo N64 kind of gal. So I had actually heard of Twisted Metal. I remember going to the video store where you would rent video games occasionally. That was like a treat for me. And I
Hmm.
remember seeing that cover of the Twisted Metal. Usually they use Sweet Tooth, I'm pretty sure, that like
Yeah,
twisted clown. They
yeah,
always use that for like that was like the image of Twisted Metal. And I was aware, I was like, oh, this is like a racing game, or like I didn't really know what it was exactly, but I knew it
yeah.
existed. But I just want to go back to that point you mentioned, and that's exactly why the vibe was a turnoff for me, because this character Grimm, who they brought in, creepy as hell. I mean, he had some like lines where he was just saying creepy ass stuff to himself. Like this doesn't fit in with the vibe of the show to me, because he's 100% serious. He's 100% creepy. He's not zany at all. And that's what all of these villains
Hmm.
or antagonists or bad people that John Doe comes across, like they may be homicidal maniacs, but they're also like clumsy or quirky or funny in some way. Like, John Doe might be trying to kill them, but they say these funny things in the heat of the moment. What comes to mind is that scene where the guy who is doing the experiments on making the car people, like people who are like
Oh, yeah.
half car, half
Axel.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of John Doe and his sister, they kind of kill him by accident, but before they have this whole exchange where, it's kind of silly. So that's where I think this Grimm character just does not fit into the vibe of the show. Like you said, he's a square peg in a round hole. And that's precisely why I'm like, this doesn't fit. I don't know why they're trying to make, like, why are they trying to make Grimm a thing? I mean, to my, for the record, I haven't played the game. I don't know if Grimm is like a very important part of the game, but like, let's just focus on Sweet Tooth. Like Will Arnett and Sweet Tooth is literally the sweet spot of the show. Like go more with that. Like it's hilarious. Like there were moments in the first season so funny. Like in the first season, the first I think 3 or 4 episodes were amazing. Like I was like, this show is so funny. I did not expect that. I did not expect to like it so much. And like bring back that feeling that we had in the first season, those first few episodes where we were like, yeah, this show is great.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of as far as why he's part of it, again, like you said, not knowing if there's actually like a tie in the game to him. The only thing I could kind of think of is maybe like with the whole mystical thing of Raven trying to bring back Kelly, if they're trying to create this mystical tie, like we have to justify that there's some way to bring someone back from the dead, so have some kind of influence in the show that has some kind of mystical, supernatural power. That's the only thing I can kind of think of because, I definitely agree with you that the vibe checks off, as the kids say.
Yeah, and someone that was even more so the vibe, continuing the vibe of the show is Anthony Kerrigan, who you might recognize from Barry. He played NoHo Hank. Amazing actor.
Batty.
I love him. I love that guy. And so he's kind of introduced in the first few episodes of season 2 as this like new villain, I guess. And he's called Calypso, and he's got this, the actor in real life has like chronic alopecia where he's bald, he doesn't grow hair. So he's got this like flowing locks, like this crazy wig, and he's just this eccentric character, which again fits in with the vibe. He's a villain, but he's a little wacky. Yeah. So he's the one that I guess is like holding the Twisted Metal tournament, where we, of course, since we didn't play the game, we get okay, that's the name of this tournament and that's the name of the show. That's where it comes from. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him come up in the rest of the season.
I knew I recognized him from somewhere. I didn't place NoHo Hank, but like knowing that, like that honestly makes him more appealing, knowing it is NoHo Hank, because he's he's honestly the best. He was honestly the best character for Barry.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But what I like about him is like you could tell he's playing this type of sadistic character, but in his head he's like super serious about it. Like this tournament is like his life, and he's got all these like ambitions. Like he thinks it's this great thing, or it's going to be have this great entertainment value. So it's probably it can be very, very twisted, no pun intended, and like there's going to be some devastation or characters falling off or whatever because of it being eliminated from the show. But like he thinks like, oh, this is going to be such great entertainment value. It's almost kind of like a Hunger Games thing.
Yeah, he just pops up on the TV for a second, but you already get the vibe of what he's going to bring to the show with his weirdness. Like he looks like a character for sure. So let's get into your thing. So what's Nutmeg Two Palmetto's one thing about Twisted Metal?
So again, if nothing else, the show's an adrenaline rush, and I see a lot of Mad Max qualities in it. Whether that's just the post-apocalyptic world or, Twisted Metal kind of being a little adjacent to that. But so that's one thing. If nothing else happens, it's just going to be something. It's just going to be like eye candy on the screen to just watch and like, okay, I need something to just like, pump me up for, an evening or whatever. But what the other thing I'm curious about is going back to the multiple antagonist thing. You've got Calypso, you've got Sweet Tooth, you got Grimm, even though you don't like him, and I'm a little questioning why he's there, but there's still a third antagonist, and plus then we've got Raven. So there's 4 antagonists in this that this show could take so many different directions uh, where to go with it.
Yeah.
And there's a certain even with Grimm, there's a certain appeal to all four of them as far as where the show could go. So even if one, I can like picture in the production sense, if they're putting the show together in post and or in their storyboarding it, the writers are doing their thing, and they're like, okay, well this one we're kind of not loving it, so maybe let's focus more on that one. So even if like there's an episode that kind of trails off, there could be the next episode that picks up on another story arc.
Yeah, and I believe they showed, what's coming up in the rest of the season for Twisted Metal, and they were showing actually some, or at least two of the antagonists facing off against each other, not necessarily against John Doe. We had, was his name Axel, the car
Yeah,
guy?
with the tires on his arm.
Yeah. There was a scene of Axel racing towards Grimm, I believe. Grimm is on the motorcycle, right? So yeah, so it looks like they're facing off. So yeah, I mean, I almost would have rather had it where, on a lot of shows, they'll either focus on like for some reason, The Sinner comes to mind, which is definitely not a similar show by any means. But the thing about The Sinner is that they focus on like one mystery per season, right? And it's kind of like different. And I guess like I haven't watched it, but like American Horror Story is the same kind of thing. It's like a different story each season. So I don't know why they didn't. Yeah, like why didn't they go the approach of like, let's have like one villain per season, and then when that arc is done for the next season, let's focus on a different villain, and have that be the driving force. And like I think that would kind of make the plot seem not so all over the place. It's like, oh, which villain is going to be the real problem this season? Like we have like 5 on deck here that we're not sure what's going to happen.
And they could change up so much in that same kind of mindset because they're living in this world where, it's not what it used to be. Everything's torn apart. It's post-apocalyptic, whatever the case may be. So they could even move the show, not just like, and make it easier as far as, because you go to a new city and there's probably a new hierarchy there. So new city, new villain, new scene, like season to season, everything's fresh. I don't want to compare it to White Lotus because obviously that's not remotely the same type of thing, but a similar thing where, okay, maybe you have the one character, you have John Doe, maybe you have Quiet as well, but like everything else around them is completely different season to season.
Yeah, or you have different characters in each city, that there's a story in each setting.
Yeah.
That would be a little more whittled down approach. Like this just kind of seems like they're throwing so much at us.
And to your previous point about Calypso's race thing, to me that's very appealing. And I'm also kind of curious because I don't feel, like you said off the top of the show, I don't feel like Sweet Tooth was very featured in this.
Yeah.
At least thus far. He's also got something like Stu hints at something with him where it makes it seem like it's a battle royale thing, and I don't know whether that's just his interpretation of the race or that's going to be like a whole different thing. So is there going to be like a completely separate thing where there's a battle royale situation, a gladiator type of tournament that Sweet Tooth enters, or is that just going to be the race where Sweet Tooth enters? But with the race, it also kind of lends to a bit Crazy Taxi, a bit Fast and the Furious, at least like the Tokyo Drift, where the racing was a central part of the storyline because that's how these people are surviving. They race, they win, they take their winnings, and that's how they live their life. So I'm also kind of curious how this Calypso race is going to shape like building the character's existence in this new world, kind of.
Yeah. And that's exactly with Quiet coming into the race or planning on racing. And then this Mayhem, I think, is the teenage or the young girl that she's kind of like taken under her wing, who we found out she's like, she wants to race, but she just has no skills at all. So like, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but at the very least, it seems like Quiet is taking on this sort of surrogate mother role for Mayhem, who's kind of this aimless teen, or I don't know if she's in her early 20s or whatnot, but yeah, Quiet's kind of bringing her into her world and looking after her.
I got a kick out of that because Quiet's car, it didn't necessarily look like it was a stick shift, but the way Mayhem was struggling with it when she's trying to steal the car, I'm like, oh, this poor girl can't drive manual.
I would be the same way, to be honest, because I can't drive a standard, and my husband and I both have automatic cars. So if someone were in a bind and were like, quick, you have to drive standard, I'd be like, okay, can't help you.
I know how it's not very coordinated.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw a note that you had about music, and
oh yeah, that's to your point before. I mean, the Michelle Branch one was very funny at the end, but to me, like, it was an amp up moment when John's running away from what turns out to be Quiet, kind of initiation with doll faces. And all of a sudden they're sitting on top of the truck. They're just like, rah, let's go. It's like Rough Riders roll.
Oh yeah, wasn't it? It was DMX or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like one time per episode, at least for season 1 and the first 3 episodes of season 2, there's like one jam in every episode that I'm like kind of sitting there like bopping around to. And I like too that they put, fun songs in the credits too. Like sometimes after it's over, I'll just kind of sit there and like bop around.
Yeah. Yeah. If nothing else with this show, adrenaline rush and nostalgic music. Like, even if you're not even remotely paying attention to the storyline, you can at least be entertained by it.
Yeah. I mean, the adrenaline, I'm not an adrenaline junkie. So like, high action kind of stresses me out almost.
Oh geez, we gotta change that.
But I mean, I'm probably a rare form of person who I rode a roller coaster once in my life and I was like, okay, I'm done. I never need to ride another one literally in my life. I'm good.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'm probably a rare form of person who doesn't like adrenaline. Like, my adrenaline thing is like going up and doing karaoke or getting on stage and doing stand-up comedy. Like, that's my adrenaline rush. That scares the hell out of me. But you won't catch me bungee jumping. You won't catch me skydiving. You won't catch me doing anything like where I could potentially risk my life. So there's that.
You just need to overcome the stage fright.
Yeah. I don't think anyone ever overcomes stage fright. Like, that's a very real thing. Like, you're thinking, oh, this seems like a good idea until you get up there and you get a case of the nervous peeing. Like, I just want to pee. That's all I want to keep doing every 5 minutes. I'm so nervous.
Says the person co-hosting a podcast on the internet.
Well, it's different because it's just you and I. Even though other people are hearing our conversations, but
It's not that private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of conversations, if you enjoy listening to our show, we would appreciate it if you gave us a 5-star review. Let us know what you think of each episode. Also, make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button so you know when each new episode releases. If you want to reach us, you can email us at rednred@gmail.com. That's the letter N for Red and Red. And you can follow the show on Instagram as well. Same handle. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a much needed break. So we'll see you roughly in mid-September for our season 3 opener with our new and improved expedited format. So until the next real review, Red and Red signing out.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world.
Don't act so surprised, Your Highness.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
What? Do what?
No. Try not. Do. Or do not.
Because I don't want no scrubs.
Let the dogs out, like, who let the dogs out? Who?
Who brought this guy along?
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chump some of this shit.
One more thing. Do me a favor. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Man mankind. That word should have new meaning for all of us today.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I'll take care, all right? Nothing but love for you. Nothing but love.
Have any clue what's about to happen to him?
Oh, not a chance in hell. Good night.
Peace!
Fire, you son of a...
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it.
Hey,
It's not funny anymore. Chelsea references.
still nothing. I swear to you.
But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.